Hello, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Ox, here on this special tonight, as the one and only GB, young JM, and of course a legend as Southside. Evening, gentlemen.
Evening, all.
Evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes, I want to thank the threes for taking the time to join us on this special, celebrating the winner of the last bear standing. Thanks, lads. And the last bear standing was the Michael Beale. Do it by age. What have we done? Southside.
Aye, good decision, mate. Had to be done. Results weren't good enough. Performances and tactics as we've been watching since the start of the season. So I think the board had seen enough on at the weekend. Probably some thought, like myself, I thought they would have given him a bit more time up until the next sort of run of results. And it was time for him to go, mate. It just wasn't good enough. And nobody can have any complaints. I think the Bears will be happy tonight, to be honest, that we need to get a real manager back at Glasgow Rangers.
Yeah, sometimes in life, GB, you have to take a couple of steps backwards to go 3 forwards. I think this is one of these for a football club, mate. Well, unfortunately, it came ahead. The pressure had been mounting for weeks, mate. It was out his depth. Should have never had the job. GB?
Yeah, I agree, Ox. I was kind of concerned a way back 10 months ago when he was appointed. Just well, that says that how inexperienced he was. He was experienced in the coaching side, but managerial side can be a total different animal, Ox. And that says from the 10 months that he's been here, that we've just not probably seen enough. I think we all had hope with the Old Firm game at the end of the season that he kind of.
You really think?
I think that kind of gave him a reprieve, Ox. I think if he lost that game, I think the heat would have been even on him during the summer with the rebuild. I think there would have been a lot of sceptical fans out there. For myself, the Old Firm game kind of showed me that he could take on Celtic. That's just my opinion. But and I wanted to give him the time with the rebuild in the summer. But where the alarm bell started ringing for me, Ox, was the pre-season games. I was seeing nothing in the games to say that we were ready to go at the start of the season, Ox.
Right. JM?
Yeah, no, I think going on what GB said, I think with that win against them at the end of the season, the bounce game in the run, I think where he was getting the benefit of the doubt was that it wasn't his players, wasn't his team, just a couple of his players. And then give him a pre-season, get him some signings in, and let's see how we go. But somehow he managed to make a below-average Rangers team even worse. And I think, like JB said there, it was noticeable after 2 or 3 pre-season games.
No. Well, we can talk about the whys and where not as well, but look, most of the people appointed Michael Beale aren't at the club anymore. Southside, yeah?
Aye.
Quite rapidly, aren't they?
Aye, somebody's got to be responsible for something. But I think what we need to do is when we're going to make a decision about the next manager, we need a sort of footballing person, I think, or we need to be looking at, are they going to look at a director of football role first and whatever? I don't know, but at the end of the day, Oxy, they couldn't go on. He lacked any experience. They took a gamble on him, going by what he was there under Gerrard. But I think the board have to get this decision right. And if it's taking a bit of time with the interim managers and whatever they're putting in place, fine. As long as at the end of the day they get the right decision.
Yeah. It was a wrong decision. We took a punt and it didn't work out, but it's a big gamble when we take a punt, GB. Yeah?
It is, Ox, because again, we're no lavish with funds. It's another manager that we're having to obviously pay off and stuff like that. I imagine we've been a business as well that we've got a kind of fail safe for this kind of thing. If our manager was ever getting taken away from us, or like I says, with what's happened tonight with the manager getting sacked, that there is a kind of backup plan there, but it's still a hit, isn't it? Ox, it's still a hit in the funds. But like Southside says, we need to get this one right, Ox. We can't keep going year after year, getting a manager 10 months and then pulling the trigger. We need to try and get somebody in that's, like I says, footballing background, managerial background, and has got to sustain us for a long time.
It's recruitment. The players make a manager, JM. It's recruitment for the last maybe 2 years, mate. Since after Seville.
Yeah, recruitment and squad management with letting certain contracts run down, certain players that then, by the way, from a professional athlete's point of view, right reserve had to down tools, risk of injury, stuff like that. Signing the wrong players, letting good players in our league go out of an arrogance, maybe an ignorance, or not wanting to give these clubs money, spending more money on players that aren't as good. It's been a real mess for quite a while now, hasn't it, about saying, and it sounds like easy to say in hindsight, but we haven't signed, made a good transfer in a long time that hasn't been a free. And yeah, it's, where do you go from here?
Yeah, I'm going to look at the positive and say it's the last, but that's the last mistake we'll have to deal with. Ross Wilson's Southside.
I hope so. Listen, it's like anything, mate. He got a period of time to try and build a team. The board have showed faith, but it's just now whoever we get in has to work with this group of players, and I think you can work with some of them, because I think if you get a system and tactics in place that the players can see and know what they're doing, then I think some of these players will maybe show up in time to be as bad as they've looked at the moment. But it'll be down to the coaching team that's coming in, and I believe it's Stephen Davis. And also going forward, it'll be who the board chooses as a manager and what sort of style of football that he plays.
Yeah. The whole thing was with their depth, GB. When we looked at when they came in the door, we looked at the CVs of the people who are getting important roles of the club. It was like trying to get a pipe fitter to sort of the space shuttle, just about their depth, mate, and it was so obvious.
Yeah, Ox, even like I says, the stuff that we're seeing in interviews and stuff like that for the backroom team wasn't really inspiring. Match days and stuff like that, there was a lot of people just sitting in dugouts, no really talking to the manager, no really communicating anything different when games weren't going right, Ox. And I think that with this appointment coming up, we need a strong number 2 as well, Ox. I think we need a strong manager, but I think we definitely need a strong number 2 beside him to help him in this league.
Yep. And it'll turn, and the king is dead. Long live the king. It'll all about tomorrow is who's getting the job. JM, early thoughts?
Well, I only thought no one obvious is sticking out to me right away. There's maybe not anybody immediate in our league I'd be looking at, maybe in the lower leagues of England. But the thing that worries me on that bit is, whose responsibility is it to go and employ this next bloke? There's not a football man in place above.
Yeah,
who in our club's qualified at the moment to appoint a manager?
But with Ross Wilson, would he be that person? He's not a football man.
Yeah, but he came, well, not a football man, but his job director of football would suggest he should be.
Yeah, I know, but that doesn't mean about what his job man, does it?
No, it doesn't. But you're meant to be qualified. His whole role is to sign players and sign managers and look after the footballing department. We've not even got if you like, a supervisor or a manager in a football department. If that's how the club decided they're wanting to run things now.
Southside will go myself in a mess, mate.
Aye, we have. And listen, obviously at the time we thought it was a good idea, but listen, it's not worked out, and now we've got to go and be plan B option. We just have to go with it. It's a compensation thing. Maybe we could let Beale go and tell him to take Dessers with him as compensation. But at the end of the day, we're paying Gio off. We're still paying him probably, and now we're going to be paying Michael Beale. So, like you say,
you couldn't give Dessers a job as his butler, mate, because the time he brought you your tea, it'd be cold.
But listen, we have got ourselves in a mess. We've not done it right for a while. We've tried all these managers, and the only one that's actually worked out was Steven Gerrard. And when he actually asked for money after being successful to try and put more money into the team, the board didn't really give him the funds, or didn't have them at that time, I don't know. So now we've come back to Michael Beale, and then the money was splashed between him and Gio, because he'd money to spend. But no, mate, I just think back to his decisions as well. He let Cholak go. big man had scored about 13 goals or 18 goals that season. He was on a run for when Gio started. He was the only striker we had up the front, and every time he put the ball in the box, he scored. And yet he wanted to go down a different road with two different strikers. But that's what managers do. They want to build their own team and their own players. You live and die by it. And unfortunately, he's going to leave because of his decisions and the players that he's brought to the club. But I still think it's his style of play and it was the structure. And I just, mate, we watched it every week. You know, we seen what the flaws were in the team. My heart sank on at the weekend because I've never felt that when a team scored against Rangers, we couldn't score two. And that's how I felt at the weekend when they scored. Because I looked at that team and that squad and I thought, where's this next? Where are we going to score two goals for? You know, and that's a reflection. And I mean, you look at that at your football team and your club, mate. I know we had injuries, but that aside, it's the team that's on the park at the time and they had scored goals a week before that. But that team didn't look capable most of the time of scoring more than one goal. Just through tactics and lack of chance creation. I mean, how many times did goalkeepers make saves against us?
No many. No.
Exactly. So that tells the story, doesn't it?
No often. We predicted yesterday on here who would be interim manager, GB.
Oh, did you? And did you get it right?
Oh, aye.
Well, the winning trend continues then. No, I mean it's a decent enough.
I get more right. Yesterday, and he's got Super Sixes right in a year and a half.
I'm sure it will improve now that there's a new manager in place, Southside.
Aye.
Ox. I mean, I'm quite happy with what they're doing now as an interim. It's a smart move in the sense I'm quite glad the board have moved quickly because let's face it, Ox, the season's not over. I mean, I know it's 7 points, but there's still a lot of games to play. And if the board get this next appointment right, then there's still a couple of Old Firm games there to take care of, and like I says, a few other competitions to try and win trophies. So I think the board have been good with their decision. They've not hung about and just waited to the international break and then hummed and hawed at it, and then you're going into more sets of games and stuff like that. So I hope Stephen Davis is successful, because you never know. I mean, they might come in and actually turn this team into a goal-scoring unit, and that might continue on. You never know.
If Stephen Davis can do that with some of the players we've got up front, I'll doff my hat to him. Giant.
Yeah, water into wine if you can make that break score up front. Jesus. No, but I'm gonna make a statement that Stephen Davis is going to know a lot more about football than Michael Beale. Now, if he gets managing a team, obviously, as Beale's found out, a lot different. But not sitting there saying, that Stephen Davis is going to be or should be our next manager.
I'm going to cut across you. Ian Beale knows more about football than Michael Beale.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on here that will know a lot more than Michael Beale. But if you can get to him, we've seen before, in certain runs you go back to where an interim manager can get a turn out of team and get a run, but you just hope the search don't go on too long. And you'd like to think that the search didn't start 5:30 Saturday evening. You'd like to think they'll maybe looking after that game before the last international break, and their process might be quicker than we hope.
Right. I suppose we better get these phone lines opened if there's any bears out there. Want to have a chat? This wee special we're having. Let's hear from these.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Southside, do you think collectively, obviously, we didn't want to lose yesterday, but ultimately it might be a good thing. Yeah, because we were just stumbling, weren't we?
Aye, it's a bit like you paper over the cracks, don't you, until the crack just opens up wide in it. And listen, we could have beat Aberdeen yesterday, and then we get the European game and St Mirren game. But aye, it felt as if it was papering out the cracks to a point. I was hoping they returned it round. You're hoping the team will get a bit of confidence. You're hoping you'll see a bit of improvement. And we understand that most of the players that are out injured at the moment would probably be in his team. But even when 1 or 2 or 3 of them were in the team still wasn't playing that well. So, but aye, to help him and to help the team and the club, aye, he would have wanted a Cantwell or Askin or a Danilo in the park yesterday, playing, or a Kieran Dowell, at least 2 out of the 4. But he had to go with what he had. But aye, it felt like it was paper near the cracks a bit, Ox. But you were hoping the team was going to turn it round after the last wee international break. And they had got the wins together. It was just performances and style of play that was lacking.
It was a bottle of pot for me, GB. That obviously the pressure was tight and it was slackening a wee bit. But the performance against Motherwell, the pressure went back on. And really, if I've been honest, beating the Livingston 4-0, yeah, we enjoyed it. But the only time the pressure really disappeared a bit was after the Betis result. But because we didn't follow that up with anything decent against Motherwell, the pressure just mounted and mounted and mounted.
Aye, it was always that kind of way that would, like you're saying, would just kind of limp by, would get a wee bit of a high, and then the hope would be that it would continue on. And again, the same old mistakes was happening, Ox. We were seeing nothing up front. And you've been saying it continually, Ox. There was still no width. I mean, injuries were starting to build up as well, and like I says, even the manager himself, Ox, for me, his body language ever since that kind of international break after the Old Firm game, his body language has looked as if he's even he's getting fed up with it. If you mean, he's even kind of looking as if he's like, what's going wrong? Like he kind of gets his head around it. So it probably was, Ox, just time just to make the change, because if we didn't and we got to Christmas, then you've got nowhere to go after that, haven't you? It's a tall ask to try and even make a title challenge with a new manager at that point. But I think we've still got time.
Jim, in your opinion, two questions for you. The first question being, do you think he'd lost the players because of the way they didn't, because if there was any cohesion between the management and the players? And also, do you think Neil Banford's Castor hat will get in the museum?
Yes and no. Yes, it depends what you get to do with the hat, I guess. But yeah, no, I think he'd lost the dressing room for a number of ways. Maybe it didn't look like a lot of people were believing the players. Were believing in Destaldo trying to play on the pitch. You could see a little bit of disbelief. You know, if we can see players are out of position, the players know it. Little things like you're starting a new season, fresh season. Your best squad player currently is Todd Cantwell, and he sits on a bench for an hour. And there'll be Rangers players sat there, experienced players, knowing he's our best player. And right away, I think that was a big red flag to maybe the squad and a lot of the fans as well.
Mm-hmm. I think it might have started before that. Yeah, personally, you know.
What, just in regards with training, or just because that's the first competitive match, or just like Southside said, just, you know, letting sort of numbers go out the team and different things?
I think in the day he started struggling was at Hampden when he played players that weren't fit.
Yeah, he played the wrong three, didn't he? He played the wrong midfield three. Everyone said it before the game, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. He played players that weren't fit. I think that was the beginning of the end. That sounded a bit harsh, Southside, but...
No harsh at all. See when you think to the signings that he brought in, when we look at the players that he brought in, because we wanted new players, right? Do you think he should have looked like when we got Cantwell, you got Butland, and we got how much you injured? Dowell. Do you think it's better to try and get players like that than going for foreign players all the time?
I don't know. I mean, there's nothing wrong with foreign players coming in, you know, but obviously you've got a cultural thing that's an added bit of baggage. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you want good players. You don't want. I mean, no offence to him. I got a text yesterday saying this was when it was nothing each, by the way, and said Dessers is going to get this. Dessers is going to cost him his job. It was true, right? I mean, everybody could all see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Aye, well, I mean, not all right. You find when you make some signings, you might get one or two that don't hit the ground running.
Every time.
But at the moment, apart from Cantwell last year and Raskin sort of looking half decent, for this season onwards, it's only really been our goalkeeper that's actually showed up. The rest of them have been absolutely right off for him.
Aye. Are you with us, Blue Star?
I'm Ox, Southside then, JB. Ox, it's sad. It is sad. We us that are a bit of a certain vintage, we're not used to seeing our managers getting sacked at our club. And in the last few years, it's happening too often. So there's no continuity at all. My problem now is, I mean, I'm looking at this Sky News and all you're getting is definitely Kevin Muscat. Well, I'm hoping it's no, guys. And I'll tell you why. Because he's not a proven manager. We need somebody in that knows our club. Yes, he was there, but very, very rarely was he there. He was only there for a short period of time. We need somebody that's a proven, whether that's an old guy, whether it's a youngish guy, somebody that's been proven to set up teams, start them from scratch or whatever, knows what they were, but definitely buying in. Muscat, I think the reason he's getting mentioned, we all know, is simply because he's went to Japan, the same as Postecoglou. So I'm hoping that whoever's going to do the recruitment this time, they've got to have a knowledge of what they're doing. Because the two guys, Bisgrove and Hingme, know nothing about football, guys. That's no slagging them. That's just fact.
If they're doing that route, it's the same mistake they done with Beale. It's lazy.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And you're spot on what you're saying. When did it start that we lost faith in Beale? I agree with you, Ox. It was away last season, the semi-final and then the final, which makes you think, well, why did they allow him to do the recruitment if there was question marks so heavily against them then? You know what I mean? Would they give him another chance? Obviously.
He's been telling them, I need to get these players in. We need a couple more goal scorers. We need a couple more midfielders. You get that, I get my main players in, and then it'll take us to the next level. Servientes take us to the next level. Anyway, we've been joined by Big Stevie. Evening, big man. Oh, he's not there. Carry on, Blue Star.
You know, so I just hope it's not going to be a quick decision. You would like to have thought that there's been a process long before now that they have been looking at other guys. Surely to goodness they must have been, because the writing's been on the wall for all years. Let's be truthful here. So I just hope whoever they bring in, it's got to be somebody that's proven. That's an absolute must. They can't just go on a whim again. We can't get through much more of this. We need a proven guy in there that knows exactly what they're going to need to do.
I'll go to the not proven expert. Evening, Big Stevie.
How we doing, lads? All right? Well, I'm a wee bit glad that news has came sooner rather than later, eh? It had to be done, let's be honest. It had to happen, so it's all about damage limitation now. Let's just see what it brings, and that league's still there to be won. Don't worry about it. I see some of the old mob for East End on my feeds and stuff like that. I mean, dear me. Well, listen, guys, I'm glad it's happened right away. 10 out of 10 to the board. They must have just spoke to him yesterday and said to him, now's the time. And Stevie Davis, you predicted it right, Oxford. Stevie Davis, Britain's cap international player. He's got experience. Let's just see how the wee man does. He's a blue nose. He's the same as us, and he knows a lot about football. So let's just see what it takes, and now the troops need to reunite, all the troops together on the stand, get back together. As I said, what happened this Saturday, man, I've never done that in my life before. I was just shattered. Enough is enough. And it wasn't so much what was happening in the pitch, because I've been through bad times. Some of the stuff running about the stands was mental. You know, what guys were shouting and that. It was just enough for me, you know. But anyway, we're Well, hopefully now we can dig our heels in and just see where it takes us.
Aye, 2 questions there. First one with Southside about, say, Musker mentioned in that. We'll go to do our own thing and no be guided by others, Southside there.
I don't think Kevin Muscat's. I wouldn't fancy that, to be honest. No, we just need a manager. And listen, we'll probably be looking about and trying to see who's not got a job. But see, if it has to be somebody that's in a job, then they better get their finger out and just go and get him. That's what we expect to happen. It can't be, oh, we'll just go for him because he's not got a job or whatever. We need to get the right man. And hopefully a bit of time with Stephen Davis and whoever else he brings in. There's rumours, I think it's Alex Ray and it's going to be Stuart, the goalkeeping coach, and Gilmer. Supposed to be. Rangers have released a tweet seemingly, and that's what's on it. So, but they'll just give them a bit of time to get a bit of stability. They might keep them Ox for a wee while, but we don't know. But I'm hoping we're not going to be shopping about for somebody that doesn't have a job. If we can identify the right person and he's in a job, and then go and get him. But we don't need to issue a 4-year contract either.
No,
you know,
no.
That's the thing that we keep doing. 4 years, 4 years.
If we wait another month, Dessers has only got 3 years and 7 months to go in his contract. You know, GB, we've got to get it right, and it was getting toxic because they'd lost the fans, the manager. He looked at his depth, his coaching staff looked at his depth, and the whole. You can't kid 50,000 bears on GB. So now it's time to. That's gone. Get behind the new regime and let's take the club forward. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's what the fans have been wanting. They've been wanting to change ever since the Old Firm game. I think even in that international break, a lot of fans wanted it done then. And now that it is done, Ox, it's like it says, it's about moving on. Hopefully, let's say getting Alex Ray in there, he'll tell them a few home truths, Ox, about how to grind out results, how to get results and stuff like that, the Rangers way and stuff. So I'm hoping that he's got a good influence in there and all. And like I says, it's there's a game to be won in Thursday, Ox. We just again more money to be made in it for the club. I mean,
yeah, you're right. You're right. There's a game to be won on Thursday. He's right, Jayama.
Yeah, got to move on quickly, haven't you? Steve Davis and his guys have got to pick the bones of whatever players we've got left. There's a bit of an injury list going on, but you know this side isn't by any means the strongest side in that group at all. Hopefully they should be able to get the side together and get the players motivated to go. What's it worth? Get 3 points, another $500,000. We might need that to pay off that staff.
I think we've been joined by a stranger. Evening, Andrew.
Good evening, chaps. I just like it was the right decision to be made there, late enough. What we've been witnessing just lately, not been good. Anybody could see that he's not wanted to be in that job for a good 3 or 4 weeks now. His attitude there in his last one yesterday when he turned around and he said the fans have not got a right to be angry. I think that wrote his script there and then. I think he actually knew that he was going there. That was his last parting shot. He wasn't over going to go himself, I think. He was going to wait till what the inevitable happened and he got sacked. I feel sorry for whoever's coming in because we've got a real problem there. I can't understand how a board would sanction when you know he's dodgy. They would sanction giving that kind of money, although it being not a lot in football, but it is to us. And giving them contracts like that, you're not going to get rid of. The only way you'll get rid of these players is by paying them off. So that's another chunk of money we're going to lose. I just hope that Davis and Ray, I think they'll come up with the Rangers angle and try to get them to understand what it is to play for. Unfortunately, I don't think the players should understand that. I mean, come on, nobody other than the keeper, nobody heard them. We were saying at the time, this don't sound right. He's looked them in the eyes. There's no way he's looked them in the eyes. That's absolute trash.
If you listen to the show, I think old Jimmy Street comes on. Yeah, he comes on and he goes to all the games, and he's a certain vintage. Alder Maesties, and he told you 6 months ago, if you listened, yeah. The guy was, what was it? I can't remember the term he used, but he told you he's just basically a barra boy, yeah. And he's been fun out. He's out his depth. He should never manage a football team again. We took a punt only because of the Steven Gerrard connection, and there.
Yeah, well, I said at the time, like when he asked us, like, did you want him? And I said no. I'm not saying it now, but I said we'd stand by him because that's what we are, Rangers fans. But you could see very, very early on that guy was totally at his depth. He contradicted himself practically every other line, and it got worse as it went along. And it's shocking what he's done to that club. Well, we're in a worse position than what we were last year, and the players couldn't get the job done last year.
Without a doubt.
The only reason I've not been on for a while because I didn't want to make a numbnut of myself or because I love the show too much, and I've listened to every show. I've been in the feed and all that. I'm just absolutely gutted. My grandson said to me this morning. He came in and he said, "That he's 10." You know what he said to me? And he's never met my granddad because he passed before he was born. He had a wee picture. He came up and had a tear in me. He said to me, "Granddad," he says, my other granddad, he said, would be absolutely heartbroken, wouldn't he? And I didn't know what to say to him. He's getting it at 10-year-old, along with a lot of others, and everybody can see, and he's really getting into the Rangers now. And he's upset, and he's worried about his granddad that's passed and all that, and he's worried about what he'd be feeling. That can't be right. How have we let this club come to this?
Because
I don't understand it.
You make decisions and they have repercussions, mate. I mean, maybe, and I'm not saying, I think, South Side, maybe you bring Gio in. Was it the right call? Did we get rid of him too quick? Ross Wilson was here there too long. Because let's be honest, Michael Beale's the last legacy of Ross Wilson, mate. So you make decisions, and our club's like a super tanker, mate. To get it back on track takes a lot of steam.
Aye, we took the gamble. That's what we done. We took a gamble on Michael Beale because of the time he had at the club with Steven Gerrard. He knew the club. The thing is, our next manager comes in has to be ruthless. I don't care what contracts they've got. Connor Golson, Tavernier, Borna, they're part of the old regime. They've been there that long under. Up with them. If they stay under another manager, it's criminal. It doesn't matter what they've done in the past and all that. It's what they're doing at the present. And for me, they need to go over a period. They need to go by the end of the season. They have to go if we can't replace them in January. And now they've got 3 years left, but they need to go. You can't have them hanging about our club. They're serial failures. Doesn't matter what way you put it into. I like Tavernier. I was delighted to lift that league trophy. Of course I was, because he'd been out at the club and he'd been suffered like the rest of his head through the leagues and got back and lifted that trophy. But you can't be captain of Glasgow Rangers for nearly 9 years and say you've only won a league and a Scottish Cup. And it has happened in the past. You get periods of time. I know you'll probably come back and say, man, did that captain win or that? I get it. But right now, we need to get this decision right. When this manager comes in, no favourites, be ruthless. And if they're not needed, they go out the door. And the club will just need to take the dairy for it. And we'll just need to get the money together. And we'll just need to have to put more money back into the club. And if that's what they've got today to recycle it, that's what we've got today. Because at the end of the day, we need to get success. And at the moment, we're sitting here. Aye, the league's a wee bit out the road, but it's still salvageable. But it comes down to the players that we've got that need to start. But I think it's down to tactics and system. I still think it's that. I think you could put Dessers in any tactics and systems and it'll not work. But apart from him, I think there's other players there you can work with.
Quick question for you before I bring in the next person that's joined us, Southside. A yes or a no answer. I mean, I think yourself has put that Kolak has put he's liked the tweet that Beale's gone. So therein we see how he wanted to leave the club. Obviously didn't get on with the manager. Quick question for you. Just will some of the injured players make a miraculous recovery?
Yes.
Right, okay. Talking about his miraculous recovery, he's got his house coat on and a cravat. We'll be joined by the Bridge man. All right, Bridge?
Good evening, everyone. Very, very happy news. Thanks for the invite. Sorry I'm a wee bit late, but delighted to hear that. I think that's what you'd said earlier on to Oxford about Mr. Davies. I'm surprised that it's I can't remember his name now for the life of me. It's coming in with him. Who is it's coming in with him?
Alex Ray.
Alex Ray. Right, okay.
No, you know to do your homework.
I know. But no, I couldn't remember his name. I mean, I spoke about him 10 minutes ago. I just forget it. But I don't know. Are we 100% sure that's going to be the temporary? Is it Davies is going to be the manager and Ray helping them, or vice versa?
Aye. Just like that. They'll do it jointly, mate, yeah.
Because Ray's had a turn of management anyway, so
Aye,
he knows a wee bit about it. I'm delighted. I think that I said it immediately after the Celtic game, the debacle with the Celtic. No, it's got to go. And the fans booing was just, it's so embarrassing, so embarrassing. Look, don't get me wrong, I wanted to boo as well, and I dare say a lot more folk wanted to boo. But the way I wanted to just be, the guys got to go, and they should have went after the Celtic game. They shouldn't have been allowed to stay after the Celtic game. That was just wrong. So there we've wasted another 4 weeks, no knowing what to do. And here we go. The results just the same, if not worse. We've got more injuries, and so on and so forth. And I hope that question you asked Southside there, I hope that isn't endemic. That there's a lot of people sitting with injuries or feigning injury just so they don't have to play. Hope that's not true, but Southside might be right when he said it. Aye, you know.
People find injuries, J.M. when the manager's no popular.
Yeah, suddenly the knocks hurt a little bit more, don't they? And they need another week or two if they're taking off. It'll be interesting to see maybe how many of them back after the international break that maybe thought might have been a few weeks later.
All right, we've been joined by John Robert. How are we doing, Robert?
Evening, Ox. Evening, guys. How are we?
Oh, evening, Robert.
All good here, Robert.
Oh, it's a bit of a non-surprise today, wasn't it? Let's be honest, we knew it was coming, whether it was going to be tonight or this week. It's pretty inevitable. It was only a result away on the wrong side, and the times came to move on. It was just interesting hearing your thoughts here, guys, and I just came in just to kind of find out who's everybody's first thought, who you're thinking next in. I know Southside said they're somebody that's ruthless. And again, there's, as I said as well earlier, there's not many out there that are maybe going to be free. So it's going to be a financial prospect for the club to obviously pay out the board, the backroom staff and Beale now. And then obviously maybe try and pay for somebody else to come in. There'll not be a lump sum, mate. You just keep paying their wages, yeah? And I'm not going to comment. You can take this any way you like, and GB can come in. I'm not going to comment who the next Rangers manager is going to be.
That must have been through that last pair standing winnings or something like that. You've got that written down somewhere, I think.
No, you already knows. That's how he's the one to mention.
Probably, Stevie. Robert, you're right, mate. It's the next appointment's going to be interesting. I really do hope if they've got a number one target, and even if he is in a job, we've just got to push the boat out and get it right. Because again, I don't want to be another 10 months down the line and we're looking at having to sack a manager again because he's lost 3 league games in a row or something like that, or he's lost the first Old Firm of the season and it's not looking great. I mean, I want to see a bit of stability back in the team. I want to see somebody that can come in and coach players and make them better. I want to see some of our youth come through with the next manager. There's boys there that are showing more than what some of the current squad are showing. And what I say is, I just want a bit of grit and a bit of excitement in the team. Basically, what Beale said he was going to do: get the handbrake off and get attacking football back into the Rangers squad. That's what I want to see for the next manager.
Stevie, in you come, mate.
Aye, I mean, we're all talking about who we think it is. No matter who comes in, we've said it on this show a million times. No matter who comes in, whether he's the most experienced or out, it's a gamble. It's a gamble. It's a 100% gamble. I know a lot of people are wanting a proven manager that's got X, Y, and Z on his CV, but it's still going to be a gamble. It'll be very interesting. There's lists going up about the place who the manager's going to be, and I think Kevin Muscat's at the top of that, but I just don't even give it a thought yet. You know, I'm just glad at the fact that Beale's gone now and we can dig our heels in as a support and get behind wee Stevie Davis and that and see where we go from there, you know.
Poster.
Well, first and foremost, I'm glad with the likes of Davis and Alec Ray. One thing I do know is they'll have at least a proper organisation on the park, whether that's a 4-4-2 or whatever. Problem with now, and I hope you're right when you're saying about ones that are maybe injured that are no injured, because up front we definitely need Danilo, Roof and whoever else. We certainly need strikers up there, but I think they'll have at least organised as the two of them were midfielders themselves, so they'll have guys in proper positions. Thoughts on a manager? I'm being truthful. I only said McInnes the last couple of weeks simply because I knew they wouldn't have to pay a lot of money for him. My honest opinion is I think he could do as a job, and I know a lot of fans are like that. Oh no, we don't want him. What I've seen, it certainly Muscat's up there, according to the bookies. For me, that's a non-starter because he's getting the experience, not enough experience. A proven manager, Ox. It's a difficult one. I honestly don't know who's available. I agree with the guys. I agree with Southside. If it's going to cost a right few quid, and they reckon that's the guy they want, then as long as he's been at a club and built a team, preferably won things, but that's not a necessity, but certainly can build a team. As long as it's somebody that is actually proven for me, it's got to be. Because we've had too many experiments, guys that are just out playing and coming in. Sometimes that works, but more often than not, it doesn't. So no, I want a guy that's been a manager. That I'll be happy as long as he's been a manager. I don't know, Ox. Honestly, truthfully, I don't.
All right.
Did
We've been joined by old Davey. Evening, Davey. Wait a minute, Rich. We've been joined by old Davey. Evening, Davey.
Evening, guys. I just got what? Aye, Bridge. I just got wind of that about 10 minutes ago. I'm going to let the dust settle on this, haven't you? But I'm offered what Suicide was pointing out. I've been thinking about it ever since the game finished. I'm saying, talk about him getting the bullet. You see it coming. He's got himself to blame. But as Suicide says, that my big dilemma is what we've still got left. When he was talking to me, and Suicide says, Tavernier, and can I keep blaming it? It is, but Tavernier, Golson, and even Jack and Lumsden, they've been there too long. So the big dilemma I have is we've still got them there, no matter who takes her. So it's a catch-22 scenario here. Whoever comes in can only do a better job than that, guys.
You just found out 10 minutes ago. Were you talking to all your old mates with the Ouija board again?
But I like that. How did you know I had one? But I mean, it is, Ox. It is when you think it. We'll still get the same dross there. That should have been. This is where he's fell on his sword here, because he's talking about a rebuild. You rebuild, you start with the goalie. We all know this. And then you work your way out. We've got guys there who we get a 4-year contract. And they're rotten. They're rotten. And it had to get changed, but we didn't do it. So whoever comes in, he's still got a lot of the dross left. But what you did mention, I think could be very important about you might see some players coming back quicker than what we thought. Because there's definitely something been going on in there.
Aye. That's what happens when Morale goes down. And you come, Bridge?
I was just asking a question there. Bruce started mentioning McInnes, and my memory says me right. McInnes said that he was offered the job and knocked it back. But I don't think the story we heard was that he was never offered the job. But I don't understand why we would want McInnes in if McInnes has already said he already knocked us back. I'm a bit, not that I want the guy in anyway, but I think he didn't want to come to us in the first place.
I don't know if that's true, Bridge. I think the talks got done so far, and there was terms in it. My understanding is that there was talks, and how far down the line they got at the time. Yeah, whether there was a formal offer for him to come to our club is up for debate, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe he was ever offered the job, but he's the one that said he didn't want it, allegedly. So.
Can I say something quickly, Ox?
Aye, mate.
Look, we've had players, Bridge, that have knocked us back and still came to the club.
Yes, I know.
I'm not saying I'm not advocating for McInnes here, right? But I'm just saying that I wouldn't use that as it would bother me. But that's what I wanted to say. Sorry?
We're going to have to get our Scottish identity, Bridge, and we're going to have to go back to some of these Scottish clubs and start buying some decent players for them. It's important.
Here, Ox. Spot on.
I just kind of see it. I don't understand why we would want to do it. But however, it happens. We've done it a couple of times. And we ended up with Scott Wright.
We took a punt. We took a punt with Scott Wright. Where's our next Colin Steen?
Well, we're not going to get our next Colin Steen.
Exactly.
There isn't one.
We're going to. That's how we have to look. Well, any player you sign's a gamble, but at least they'll understand the club. JM, then GB.
Yeah, maybe overlooked him at quite a good few. Now, not necessarily saying all them Scottish players that came to us, but it doesn't even look like that we've been interested in him, whether we thought we were too good for him or whatever. But I think it's important to get that core of Scottish players or people knowing it, because especially people talking about getting Rangers men or whatever in, I don't necessarily think it's too important as long as you get a winner in. No point getting a Rangers men in if the players you sign don't know who they are.
Ox, can I come? Ox, is it not a possibility? I don't know who they've been looking at or whatever, but is it not a probability that if they can get a Scottish guy in, now where they get him for, I don't know, but just for talking sake, say it was McInnes, right? That guy at least knows the Scottish game. He knows every player up here. Now, we don't have millions and millions in the bank to go and waste. There's one thing that he would be able to do. He would at least be able to know our market and bring guys in that could do a job in our league, because this fantasy about, we need a European guy in, because I've had that for the last number of months. No, we don't. We've got to start winning in our own league before we can even think about winning in Europe. Yes, we can push on if we get a winning team on the park. But first and foremost, it would make sense to me, and I'm not saying I'm just saying somebody that knows the SPL. Certainly, there's players there that would be brought in on a far, far lesser budget that could be affordable. And if you're a proper, decent manager, you can mould the guys into a team. It doesn't take Einstein to know a decent right back or a decent left back. It's just putting them together.
But would you say that the basics, when you look at a player, that he's got to be able to run?
Absolutely, mate.
Yeah.
We've all said that pace, and he told us he was bringing in pace and quality. Where's the pace? None. Spot on, Ox. Spot on.
GB, I worry who looked at some of these players.
Ox, again, another area that needs tidied up is the recruitment side, Ox. Maybe the next manager will have somebody in mind for that, or the next manager will want to do the same as Beale and have control of it. We don't know, but we need to get that right, because we are shelling out money on duds. And like you say, Ox, if we just maybe looked in our own market, I mean, look at Lewis Ferguson now. I think he's touted now that he's got to be captain here in Italy. And we could have got him when he was at Akis. And it's just stuff like that. Our scouting system just needs to be a lot tidier, especially in our own league. Because see, if you look at the other leagues, Ox, like say, even the Dutch league and stuff like that, they shop in their own market. They go and buy for other teams that are producing young Dutch talent and all the rest of it. So I think it's maybe time we start getting some players for our league into our team that know the league, and let's say they can maybe deal with games like, say, the Aberdeens and Motherwells, and then when it comes to Europe, we can splash out a wee bit more to try and get us out of the line in that kind of competition.
Stevie, and then we'll go to Andy for Leeds. Stevie.
I was shouting there, get James for Tennessee in as my scout, you know. Look, again, you know, there's a lot of things at the club we need to get right. Maybe we need to get back to basics regarding maybe getting a few blue noses in the team. The thing for me about the team of lately, there is just no anger, there's no iron, and there's no passion and commitment. It's just a bunch of nice guys playing football, and they're never ever going to survive in the Scottish game, because there's elements of the dark side in every team, and they will fight and die and scratch and lie against the Rangers. We know what they do every week, and we're just a bunch of nice boys. So see whoever comes in, the manager, take the captaincy off James Tavernier, 110%. He's been a great servant to our club. He can't defend, and he's not a captain. He's great going middle to front. He's goal scoring, and what's on paper is brilliant. Just basic things we need to tidy up. We need to get some blue noses in the team doing a bit. I know that always doesn't that always work all the time. You're going to say, but he was a blue nose that didn't work. Just, we need to get some iron in the team. We need to get people around about the club that knows what it is to play for the Rangers and know how the support feel. And just get a few things right. And no doubt who comes in will want to bring one or two in January when the transfer window opens again. One or two of their own players. We'll make sure they bring in a captain. Because we need one, no less we need the goalie.
Andy?
Totally agree with Stevie there. What I would do, right, to really shake it up, Golston and Tavernier, I would drop them. Bring Suter in for Golston and give him the captain short term. And just show them they're going to throw some waves at them. Everybody can see. I mean, Tavernier got bumped over there against Livingston, just fell over. He's got great record goals. Nobody can argue with that one. But he's not even getting the crosses in. He's not getting over the line now. His legs have gone. His legs were going at the end of last season. We're keeping players that should never have been there. You know, we're having the one trophy, so that tells you that they're not good enough to get the job done. And we spent 13 million of this money on the 3 strikers. The alarming thing there, who looks at that and goes, right, the 3 of them in 3 years have scored 10 goals between them. I'll tell you what, if we went with references for our jobs like that, who's this guy? No, you're all right. Thanks for the call. I'll see you later. That's just that's just stupidity. That really gets my goat. I mean, that board, they should have seen that. They said to me, wait a minute. Is this the records that you putting down that you want to bring these in that are going to run through brick walls for us? I'm going to be far better. I mean, you should be looking at 3 and 4 year contracts. I'm not getting that. Come on. I know that they're all about security and all that, but geez, how can you get a 3-year, 4-year contract for players like that with their CVs? I wouldn't get it at work. If I'm going to my work tomorrow and I don't perform to what they think, they're coming to me and say, right, Andy, you're shite. See you later. It's no different in football.
You're still in a job, aren't you?
Aye, so I must have been all right then, eh?
No,
40 years in the same job, eh? Your life for murder, eh?
Yeah, I agree with the contracts. Listen, I would have, maybe I'm in a minority, I don't know. I would have gave Golson and Tavernier contracts in 2022, but it wouldn't have been 4-year deals and 2-year extensions, yeah. We need to be a bit smarter, and I don't think they're the only problem. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think they're our biggest problem. But I agree with the leadership side of things. Bridgeman?
Yep.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. I did say at the time I would have given Golson a contract. I think he held it for getting and eventually got the 4-year. And Tab got it anyway. But I think a lot of that was to do with Tab being the captain and things like that, you know. But the guys are coming in with some good points, and the problem is you start to pick one rotten apple and you look for another, and you see another, and you see another. You might be really surprised that you've got actually, excuse me, maybe get 7 or 8 rotten apples in your team, and I don't know whether the club can afford to just dump, I'm using that word loosely, 7 people. I don't know how they're going to do that. We don't have the youth that's got the experience. Unless we can go out and get players that have actually stopped working and bring them back in, which are going to need trained up. I just don't see how it's going to work for us other than, are we talking about maybe a clean sweep of all the players, even like Goldson? You're going to get rid of him and Tab? I just don't understand what's going to happen. Look, by the way,
the new manager might come in and he might still think you can do your turn. If you get a new manager, you've got to let him do the job.
No, 100%, pal. It's just the way we're thinking, you know, as a support. I mean, the weekend there, I thought, well, they could just dump on them easily. But how are we going to? I'd put the reserve back in, but just bring the youngsters in and let's go in with it and give the season up. But my goodness gracious, it's going to be a killer for us if we do anything like that, of course.
No. Too early yet to put the white flag up. No, I mean, it's time to get behind the club. And by the way, when we're saying that some of the players, we're not saying that anybody's feigning injury, just so people are listening. What we're saying is guys have got knocks and maybe injuries that sometimes that you can maybe play through if you like the gaffer. We're not saying they're feigning injury. Does that make sense, South Side?
Aye, 100%, mate. Aye. Probably wasn't totally clear on the answer, but aye, players will come back quicker. When the team's playing well, believe in the manager, they want back in the team. When you're injured and you're not agreeing with the manager tactics and the results are not going your way, you can normally you can sit out an extra week or two sometimes, you know, when you can see the bigger picture of what's happening for the inside.
That's what happens. That's real football, isn't it?
100%, mate. That's what happens, and it's happened through many years. It's not just because it's this time it's Michael Beale or anything like that. It's happened through many years.
It's not your club. It's every football club.
Yep, 100%.
Right, okay. We'll just get the last word, see, because obviously we just pulled this together quickly tonight because big news broke from the club. Sad news, I think somebody said. Sad but happy news, if that makes sense. So we'll work through each, Robert.
It is sad news. We took a punt on Michael Beale. It's not paid off, and I'm sure we will wish him all the best going forward. But it is a big change, and the board now need to get the right decision in. We can't be sitting in this position again next year. So let's hopefully it's a good decision that's been made, and we wish Sir Stephen Davis and Alex Ray the best in their games going forward.
Would you board loyal? Oh, David White.
No, it's no sad news for me. I don't agree with that at all. I just got a phone call from Mr. Bennett here actually saying Suicide and Big Stevie could be interested in the job. So put you forward, boys. And
they would need somebody next to them that knew something about football.
Do you know, I'll say this quickly. I've not got a lot of time. What I'm more shocked with, I'm not shocked that he's gone because that was going to come. I'm shocked that the board has done what they should have done because I don't think anybody was going to say that they would do that. So I'll rest my case on that. Right, boys.
I think there's not many people left at the club now who were involved when Beale got the job. But I'm a Big Stevie.
Let's go, Devo. Stand up for the Ulster, man. Come on, Rangers.
Yeah. Blue Star.
The only consistency we had under Beale was inconsistency. No, with wee Davo and Alec Ray and whoever else, for me, 1,000,000% will at least see organisation. Might not be the best players, but they'll at least have us organised. And that will be onwards and upwards because we know what we're up against. There are no great teams in our league. we might not have the best players, but if they're structured properly, somebody can still work with them until better ones get brought in. Onwards and upwards, as I always say.
Yeah. GB.
Hi, Ox. Thanks for doing a wee show tonight. It's good to get the opinions of the fans out there and stuff like that. And congrats to the board for not accepting failure. Good to see that they've acted on it, and it'll be exciting days ahead to see who's getting rumoured with a new job.
Andy Felix.
Yeah, look, all the anger and all that we've had and has been shown just of late. It has to go now because we've got to move forward, see what's going. Take our time. Hopefully pick, which is no guarantee, but hopefully pick somebody that knows how to manage a team that can, see the pitfalls and act on it. And hopefully I can come back in. It's the only reason I've not been in. I've been too angry and I didn't want to blow the place up, like, you know what I mean? So hopefully I can come back in and just talk positive with you guys, and hopefully we go forward now.
I definitely can. You got to talk positive.
Well, listen, I tell you, as Shug says to me, he says, I notice you're being quiet. I says, don't worry about that. I'm not going anywhere yet. I don't want to. But I did say at the start there, I'd stay away for a bit because I wanted to see, and I was more concerned about the players I'd never heard of other than the keeper. And I said to Shug at the time, I'm going to try and study this and don't go shouting off like I usually do. I take no pleasure in the fact that
that's
what a lot
that's,
of us said was right,
was the point I was making. How it's a sad day, but obviously we're all happy with what's happened, but it's still sad because ultimately we failed. That's how
we failed, aye.
Yeah. Cheers, mate. Jay,
no problem.
Yeah, I think the writing's been on the wall since the first weekend in September, but well done to the fans for letting the board know that it's not acceptable and remind everyone, and well done on the board for not giving Beale a third or fourth chance, and onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards, stealing Blue Stars line. Southside.
Aye, I didn't want the guy to fail, Michael Beale, when he got the job. It wasn't my choice, but I never want anybody to fail when you get the manager of Glasgow Rangers. He talked the talk. Unfortunately, he's now doing the walk. So with Stephen Davis, Alex Ray and the rest of the team in the background, the best, hopefully they'll change the system. Get us playing football, but change that system, and let's see a bit of width in the team, and let's see if we can get these players when we come back as well for injury, get them performing and do well for the Glasgow Rangers, mate.
Yeah. Bridgman.
Aye, tomorrow we can start to take a deep breath and see it all happening. The Bears should be happy. We've got two of our own taking over. Maybe even for just for a short space of time, and let the board do what the board need to do. And if they're going to get a new one in, pick wisely, please. I think most of us, I've just been seeing my cousin, I'm delighted that Stephen Davis and Alex Ray are coming in. They're over the moon because they're loyal, just as very loyal Rangers fans. And I think we can all, as fans, we can all take a wee rest and stop battering everybody and killing each other and all the rest of it. Just try to keep calm and let's go on with it and let them do their job, because we've got a massive task. First jobs over in Cyprus. My goodness gracious, what an introduction to Rangers European game. Thanks for letting us on tonight, Oxshare. It's absolutely brilliant. A big shout out to your techie guys. Well done.
Come on then. Where's the speech?
Sorry?
To all the Rangers fans.
Oh, sorry. Just say it now. To all the Rangers fans all over the world, listening in here on Rangers Radio, please let this be known. We're going to start again. We're starting again, and we've got to get it right. So please keep up with us and keep them listening. Because Rangers need you. They need us badly. So everybody, keep it going for the Rangers. Please, keep it going.
Right, thanks to everybody for joining us. Thanks to the two technical boys without them, there's no show. We couldn't get all the callers on tonight. If you didn't go on, we'll see if we get you on tomorrow night. The lines were too busy. Great to hear from everybody. And we'll have something to talk about tomorrow night. Thanks for listening. And remember, remember, to our first-time listeners, don't worry about it. We're still the people. Take it away, Old School Blue.